Hey guys, how are you? I'm going to be starting free yes and no with the crystal ball. If you book a tarot, they are $25. And my list is open. I will be in and out of the stream from here till 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So sometimes I disconnect so that I can take private readings and stuff like that. But yes, so it's roughly 10 to 4 and that 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Those are the active hours on the stream. And if you click the bell, it's better because I sometimes, like I said, pop in and out. I'm going to be starting the free yes and no. This is with a technique with crystal ball gazing. It gives a message based on the energy of the question and then answers the question. But it does not substitute a full reading. So I'm going to let the stream load a little bit so that I can start the questions. Okay, let's see. Roseanne, has Larry been cheating on you? Okay, so I'm just going to ask if he cheated with an ED at the end, because it's only one time that matters. All right, so if he did it 100 times, it's the one time that began all of it. So let's go back to the, the one or not, okay? No. Well, okay, let me explain. The answer is usually this kind of thing is either yes or no. I was going to say no, but I'm going to retract and say yes, and I'll explain why. To some people, they consider cheating just the physical act, whereas other people consider all the different behaviors, like a wandering eye, or flirting online, or even fantasizing about another person, or those are different ranges. So I include all of those. So there's if there's like 2,000 behaviors, just to make up a number, that I include that type of behavior, I include that in the group. So I don't know how you interpret that word. Some people allow certain inappropriate behaviors and they dismiss it and they only go by the technical act. I include all of it. So because I include all of it, the answer is yes. Now, to be a little bit more specific, I do see that two things are not okay with this person and you in regards to your question. The first one is that I do see him looking at inappropriate adult content that he's not supposed to even want to look at if he's committed and in love with you. So let's start right there. That means he has an addiction. Number two, the other part, or if it's not an addiction, then he obviously is having trouble disconnecting from you, and that's what he truly desires. So I don't know unless I do a mind read on him through a tarot, but that's besides the point. So he's, let's say he does have an addiction, okay? He's deciding to feed it. Now, the second part that I find not okay, he's aware that you're stressed by it. He's aware that you are messed up, stressed, upset by it. You're not happy. If he doesn't cater to you and try to fix what you're feeling and try to, have importance, prioritize you, and not only address what you're feeling, that's neglect. And that in its own way is a type of abandonment. That's not okay. Because you feel that way because of his behavior. So no matter what he's doing, if you're upset, that's the result. So it's up to him to make you feel better and correct the problem, just like you would do for him. Because if the tables were turned, you would comfort him and you would do things to make him be okay and feel okay. So I see two things that are not okay. And the first one is he is engaging in behavior that is not loyal. Do I see that he's actually crossed the physical line with someone? I do not believe he has, but I believe that he is capable. And I don't mean capable like in a human way, like everyone is capable of eating broccoli. I'm talking about, if you read between the lines, I'm trying to say that obviously he's capable as a human, but I'm saying, is he emotionally capable? Is his loyalty weak enough, is what I'm saying. And I do see that it is, which means that it is a warning, which means that that is on the horizon. All right, so I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Is Alfredo meant for you? The only way I can answer that is, this is for a pretty lady, is your astrology. I'm an astrology love specialist. You're asking about the destiny of your life. This is not what this is. What I offer here is an answer to a current question, a current time, this present time. You're asking something in the lifeline. So something that is destiny, long life is astrology. Okay, and you can book one with me if you'd like, or you can book a deep tarot on him, but that's still not going to substitute astrology answers. All right, let's see, because your soulmate's in your chart. All right, let's see. G, will your husband and you reconcile? All right, I'm seeing a man and a woman sitting at a table that seems like it has other family members. And they're putting on somewhat of an act because they don't want to show what's going on between them. So it's a little bit dry there. One second. I think it has repair, but I think that, it can't continue down that road of, the pattern of the issue, because it can, kill the connection eventually. It can lead to that, a bitterness. I have this, feeling that it's things are not going to last many years. But that's like a future outlook on it. Sometimes those kinds of things come out in gazing, even though I leave that to astrology, palmistry, things that talk about destiny, long life, 10 years down the line, 30 years, you get the picture. Usually this is the moment, but, sometimes I do get information that's farther in the one answer. So I would say that if you want to feed the connection and nourish the connection so that it flourishes, you both have to decide to do that and decide to do it as soon as possible, because only then it can continue to flourish. Because I see that there's a lot of conflict easily between both of you. Some couples get together and they're very smooth in their connection, harmonious, and some have issues that, cause chaos, and there's something that's kind of scratching at the surface. So it takes a lot of work to get this connection to stay and stick. So the answer is yes, I do see a reconnection, I do see a repair. But there are warnings that within 5 years, this connection can end and you can remarry. You would remarry first before him. All right, thank you so much. Hope that helps. Okay, Diane, will Jeff and you reconcile? So I'm seeing two things that are separate messages. I'm reading on the energy of the question, so both of you. I'm seeing his mother. I don't know what role his mother has to do with you in particular. Maybe you've never met her, but I'm seeing that this is very representative of him at this time. So maybe, I don't know if she's meddling or there's something that she inculcated in him that he repeats, or, you know, it is definitely of substance in the connection. I also see someone bringing stuff over on a tray. So this can be someone that waitresses or is a server, or a scenario where they are a hostess or something. I'm not sure what scenario that plugs into, but it is significant of a past memory. So being at a place and being served things, and there being a lot of stress between the communication. So I would say both on those separate messages with the energy, this is troubled. So the answer to you is, I would say a careful no. A careful no. If I had to do like yes or no, a careful no. Meaning tread carefully because it's a delicate, yeah. But definitely possible. Thank you so much. Let's see. Jax is asking, will Scott and you work things out this week? Okay, I assume that's a romantic question. It sounds like a business question. Will we work things out? Will we sign the contract? Okay, so let's see. All right, Jax is asking about Scott. All right, so I see a woman of dark hair color, so brunette, giving an energy where she's outside the relationship, she's outside the picture, but she's somewhat disruptive with her energy, with her mindset, with her manifesting, with her intentions, if you will. I understand you're asking about just you and your person. I get it, and I'm going to answer you in a minute. But this is letting me know that there are enemies close to both of you that you may not realize, or maybe you just shrug your shoulders like, yeah, I don't like them, but it's more significant than that. For some reason, the disruption of this person is having its effect, without getting too complicated in, yeah. So this is what you want to just look at is, you want to be aware of who he speaks to in, as friends. So I'm not saying, I feel it's more his side, although you're very envied. I don't know how, but in other words, I don't know your circle, but I'm only seeing a vision with the question on the energy of him and you. But I can tell you're very envied, and you have to be careful with that. You're somebody who should wear amulets a lot, like crystals and stuff like that. Like if it breaks, let it be, things that things break instead of, like for things to pick up the negative energy. That's really the reason why, jewelry's not big, not only because it's pretty or symbolic, it's also for other reasons too. All right, so amulets and things like that. But besides that, there's something on his side. So I'm not seeing there's anything of flirtation or anything that's in you know, unfaithful. I'm not seeing that energy. But I am seeing that there is maybe someone that wants to be with him. Maybe he doesn't know it. Or maybe someone who's just angry at the fact that the way he talks about you. It can be the girlfriend of a friend. And this is a hypothetical. I'm not saying this is the situation, but I'm just giving you an idea, a concept. Let's say hypothetically that he's got a guy buddy that he talks to, and he has a girlfriend, and the girlfriend has heard your person express himself in a way where you know, he says, you know, I'm so in love with her, she's amazing. And maybe she's full of envy because her relationship doesn't have that. That envy can still collect. Usually, you know, jealousy and things like that, you can just kind of throw away and it is what it is. But sometimes people have a natural ability for evil eye. And it does work. Some cultures really believe in that, mainly Italians. But so do a lot of Spanish-speaking cultures, which is, it's called mal de ojo. And in Italian, it's called malocchio. So it is common in Turkey as well, the evil eye. Yeah, the Greeks as well, absolutely. It is a thing. Ever gotten a new car and everybody's like, oh my God, it's so gorgeous, or a new handbag. And then everybody compliments it, and then by the end of the week, it rips. And it's like, what? How the hell did that rip? It is true. So I'm seeing that. So number one, I'm seeing that there's a disruption between, you know, there's energies of people that don't belong. There's also advice that he's being given on things that are not with his best interest in mind or yours. I'm also seeing that he's gotten lately a skewed perception of what you're all about, which means he's allowing toxic ideas into his that shouldn't be there. So I think you guys have a really real connection, and I think that what you should do is clear that out of the way. Break and take away the power of anybody he's talking to and reconnect, re-strengthen that bond, because this is kind of where, you know, Virgo men, I'm not saying he's a Virgo, but Virgo men are very susceptible to that, unfortunately, just to give you an idea. And if he's Virgo moon or rising, it may be, because they need the feedback of friends. They need the feedback of family. Hey, what do you think about that? You know, hey, my friend said this and they taught me this. And they're very friendly in that way. They're very people friendly. And unfortunately, in relationships, the female can sometimes feel like, what the hell? You know, why are you trusting that person? You know, so that can happen. He doesn't give me direct Virgo energy, but I do feel that there's something in him where instead of connecting with you and opening to you, he can kind of be infiltrated from other sources. I think that that is key, because if you took that away and you strengthened the one-on-one where you can get to the point where you feel each other's thoughts and you're thinking about each other at the same time, and you go back to the, you know, finishing each other's sentences, that's nobody's in the way with that energy. And I think if you go back to that, I think it's where it needs to be. All right, so I hope that helps. But yeah, it's you and him aren't really the problem. It's just that the way you're dealing with stressors that you guys have is the wrong way, because it's allowing like a wedge between the connection. And you may not even realize that's also a factor. Thank you so much. I'm glad, sweetheart. Thank you. All right, Kieta, will your finances be better in October? Oh, I remember you. Kieta, yes. So I don't answer financial questions on this like that. Yeah, because it's too open. It's too broad. You know, finances, yeah. All right, let's see. Look, would Padmini meet out to reconcile? I think it's possible. I'm not going to, I'm in this particular case, I'm not going to describe what I'm seeing because I think it's going to completely confuse you. So I'm just going to give you the answer, okay? I would say it's possible if you do the initial hard work, if you take the initiative. I don't see this person freely, wanting that and going after that and trying to, it's kind of like you need the coercing. Hey, how are you? Hey, are you okay? If you do the hard work in this particular case, I don't know if it's worth your while, but that's what I'm seeing with this person. Okay. All right, let's see. Lawrence, does Sammy like you back? Okay. Let's see, Lawrence. Okay, so I get this weird sense that maybe you work together, or there's something very aware, or I should say, or maybe there's a large awareness that he has with what you do. Maybe you converse a lot if you don't work together, because let me explain why I came to that conclusion. What I'm seeing here is that he looks at you. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, but it's going to completely freaking confuse you. I see a man sitting down at like an office setting, and there's a woman that seems like 14 feet tall. Now, who the hell is 14 feet tall, right? So it's just a symbolism, okay? What it means is that he looks at you almost like intimidated, like untouchable, like, wow, she's so pretty, I can't talk to her. Or maybe it's the money you make, or maybe it's your intelligence, or maybe it's your resume. There's something about you that he seems like you're out of his, like you're out of his league. So that means you have to humanize the connection. So if you have a crush, you have to change, be aware of how you seem to him. So in other words, try to make an impression in a different way. For example, what sign is he? I can see it's a yes, but it's going to take you piercing through the roughness for you to start the spark. Okay, he's a Gemini. So I suggest what catches a Gemini's eye, Gemini male, and we're looking at just the sun, of course, moon risings and stelliums, second sun, secondary decan rulers, that all has to do with personality. But if we're just looking at, his most brightest part, which is the sun, Gemini males naturally, without even realizing it, are drawn to women that dress very well put together. Virgo moon, okay. Very well put. We're not going to get into the Virgo moon because that's going to make it more complicated. But, they're drawn to women that have color patterns that, like the way that the style, whether they're into style or not, which they kind of always are, but how coordinated you are. So your not just your vibe, because vibe is abstract, but the way that you look. So for example, if you're wearing light pink, and you're matching it with, like, let's say white, and you would have the pattern like light pink, white, the handbag, light pink, white, those color sequences that look like you dressed in a palette, that is very likable to them. They are attracted to style and patterns and color, whether they realize it or not. Also, it's maybe the way you dress. Maybe there's something very aesthetic about the way you look. Maybe it's not so much the color pattern. Maybe it's just maybe the way that you wear. Maybe it's a hair barrette that's fancy that goes with a certain dress. There's something to your outfits. Geminis notice outfits. They notice the way a woman dresses, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is they are drawn to very, petite, soft women, more how should I say, not the, very alpha female that's strong and bold and vivacious. They're more into the quiet, feminine, soft, romantic, classic female. So delicate, sweet natured kind of thing. Is very, very romantic to them. They're very appealed by that. So someone who will not overpower the Gemini. Because the Gemini male likes to, when he falls in love, he likes to see the female be his co-pilot. So if he's into, let's say, whatever hobby or whatever interest or life path, when he picks his mate, when he picks his female, the Gemini male is looking for her to be right on board and do things with him. That kind of thing. So when Johnny Depp was looking to fall in love and start a family, he wanted a different culture. He was drawn to a different culture. And when he saw Vanessa, it took him a while to pursue her. And then when he did, the way she fit that motherly feeling and her style being a model, he ended up having all his children with her and had a life in France. When Kanye West, another Gemini, was crushing over Kim Kardashian for many years, because they're very slow to pursue back. The Gemini male, they take their time. He had a vision to plug in, with, style and aesthetic and all his sense of being with everything he was about. And Kim plugged into his brand, so a Gemini male, if will always look for that kind of co-pilot. So, things like that you have to be aware of. They are very, they're very missed if they're not in the room. They are very, there's an energy about them that's electric when they're in the room. They're like the life of the party without trying to be the party. They're very elegant, very mysterious, and they can kind of pierce you with an attraction that kind of, like a magnet. Very, very interesting method. But at the same time, they do it really subtle, very subtle. They're also very timid. I can tell that he feels you're out of his league. So this means, being a Virgo moon, here comes the Virgo moon. Oh my God. He's going to analyze everything. Kind of like a detective. He's got to do something. With a Virgo moon, that man does something technical. I'm telling you right now. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into his whole chart. But his Virgo moon, he does something technical. He analyzes and thinks things through. So that means that he's going to think a great deal about everything, even though, and the Gemini also has a delay with the way they, they're not sure sometimes. So what does that tell you? He's analyzing you left and right, or analyzing the situation. So that means you need to break that and show him if you fit his physical. If there's no physical attraction, I can't tell with this type of reading, the way that the message, the way that I got, I can't tell if there is physical attraction, but you can. It's not like I'm not doing a full love reading, so I can't tell, but you can, because it takes 1 minute and one look. You can tell with, especially a Gemini's eyes, if he digs you in a physical way, you will know immediately by his eyes. Now, that's the entrance you need, because if he's single and you're single and you have a crush and he's seeing, what I can see is that he sees you out of his league. So if you can verify for yourself that he's attracted to you, understand you need to correct the perception he has where you seem out of his league. And once you do that, you would have a chance. Okay, so the part I'm seeing is where you're out of his league. All right, and I hope that helps because, yeah, it's a difficult combination with a Gemini moon and a... Okay, so if he already looks at you in secret, that's all you need. You know, as a woman, as your own magic, your own intuition, you know he's attracted to you. All you need to do is break that ice. And the way you're going to do it is delicate flirtation. Don't make the mistake of being alpha. Don't go in there and ask him out. Not with a Gemini man. You have to be subtle, flirty, and maybe enter soft conversation or something and let him finish the pieces. Yes, they are all shy. They are all shy. That's their demeanor. Yeah. So all you have to do is, try to kind of gain way to a soft conversation where you can implement a little bit of a different perception of yourself. Oh, I did this on the weekend. What did you do? Or something, so that you paint a picture of you, but in a presentable you. And you're going to see that soften. And then you got to be very observant on what he's saying. Because then you're going to switch it and you're not going to put the pressure on you talking about you, because you still want to remain a mystery, which is sexy to the Gemini male. You want to see what grabs his attention, and within those small moments, you want to see what he's bringing up. What is he talking about? All right? Yeah. All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Text you? Yes, so my texts are open. I have a dedicated mobile line for my shop, but it's only for paid reads. So if you unless you have a question about a reading that you purchased, because I get so many, people are always texting me a lot of things, and they all matter, but I don't have the time because I have so many private appointments. And remember, I'm a magical practitioner. So I have a lot of people trying to win court cases and a lot of things I'm involved with magic that, it takes a lot of my time. But yeah, no, you're more than welcome. But I'm saying, I don't have a lot of time for that unless, you book a private appointment. Okay, my tarot list is open if you want to book a reading. They're $25. All right, let me continue. So Dina, thank you so much, by the way. Let's see. Dina, will you meet a new companion soon? All right, let's see. Not new. I see someone, trying to be in the picture. That is not new. So new, no, not new. If you're not interested in rehashing a connection that you're trying to leave, or maybe one that didn't go anywhere in the past, they're still interested. I think you have several interested potential suitors, but maybe to you they're not potential. As far as new, not at this time. That doesn't mean no forever, obviously. It just means soon, which to me means about 3-4 weeks. So I would say no on the new. All right, but definitely not dry. All right, let's see. Sierra, will giving Richard time without you bothering help him come back to you? Okay, let's see. Sierra. No. So I see two people staring at, I don't know if it's a video game, or it doesn't seem like a movie. I don't know if he plays or not, but the point is, I see him feeling awkward. So I can tell in this situation that he's not as vocal as he would be if he were in a happy situation. There are things apparently about you that just has layered on with him that he's not, This looks like a story that has quite a heavy past without poking at that or anything like that. I don't want to, open up any corridors and go down those rabbit holes. I tend to do that with details. I'd rather just stick to what you're asking. No, I think this person has wanted out. I think this person's very apathetic. I don't see them waking up and saying, oh my God, I want to call her. I miss her. I have, where are you? I need to be with you. I just don't see that from him. I see the opposite of whatever, that very passé kind of thing. So yeah, I would say no. I would say this person doesn't value you. Yeah, I don't think this person is giving you the value. I mean, your mother and your father, whoever they are, I'm sure that they brought you in this world to be valued, to be cherished, not to be, unappreciated by some man. And I'm sure if you have a daughter or a niece or a cousin, sibling, I'm sure you wouldn't want that for her either. You would say, are you kidding me? Grab your dignity and get the hell out of there. I'm sorry, but I just think he's a sad little man. All right, let's see. Let's see. Dina. Are you still there, Dina? Let's see. You have a soon-to-be ex-husband. You've been trying to divorce for 2 years. Let me see. So I'm not sure your question. If you want to put it down. I saw your comment, but I didn't see your question. If the divorce process has started, then it's a very different ballgame, because in a reading, the divorce takes on its own energy, because it's its own entity, because it has a legal process. It's a case. It's an open case. So because of that, the technicality on a divorce is going to be its own reading, or its own, path in the energy. Whereas the internal emotions of the female and the internal emotions of the male are going to be different. In other words, on the emotional level. So if you want me to address something, go ahead. Let's see. Alokphilia. So you're coming onto my private stream to put your phone number for private readings. Are you that desperate? Isn't that sad? That's like a dentist walking into another dentist's office and say, hire me to clean your teeth. Do you think people are going to do that? Do you think people would do that? That's so sad. It shows you're desperate and you're an amateur. That's so sad. Why would you do that? That's embarrassing for you. I feel embarrassed for you. Wow. Okay. A sad little person. All right. We're going to continue with the free yes and no. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I go in and out because I do other errands and I take private readings and different things. When I'm sending an astrology chart or stuff like that, I pop in and out. So if you don't see me, just click the bell. You can always text the shop. If you order a reading and I'm not on the stream, you can text the shop. All right, Anna May, does your ex David want you back? Well, you would know, right? You would know if he wants you back, because if he does, he would try to reach you. So I'm not sure, like somewhere in there seems like there's a very legitimate question. I'm just trying to understand, are you trying to see if he was honest? Or are you trying to see if he's going to approach you again to communicate? You see what I'm saying? It's very vague, so I don't ask vague questions. Yeah, I'm not understanding the situation. So does he want you back? That, in other words, let's hone in on what you're asking. Are you trying to figure out what he feels about you because he doesn't talk to you? Or are you trying to figure out if what he's telling you is true? So you would know if he wants you back because he would say, I want you back. And then the woman would say, well, I don't know what to trust. You see? So I don't know what you mean by that. Okay, let's see. Hi, nerd. Does Jan still check your social media secretly? I'm not going to do those social media questions on here, but I will ask if Jan is interested in you in any way. Trying to look at your content and not specifically one platform, but just like in everything. Like, is he romantically interested in you? Are you in his thoughts? Okay, let's see. Nora's asking about Jan. Or their thoughts, you know, whatever. He, she, they, whatever. I would say yes, and I also see two people at what it seems like to be as a bar. Looks like that's a bar. It could be a lounge, but there's still a bar. So yeah, based on that, yes, I do see this is when two people are communicating, talking, yes. Whether it's a memory in the past or if it's something that's going to happen in the future, it's still, the answer is yes. All right, let's see. Does Anthony have strong feelings for you? Angel. Okay, so this is a male to male connection. Angel to Anthony. Okay, let's see. There must be something going on with the question because I'm getting a mixed vision there. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, that's skewed. It's a skewed message. So there's got to be something with the question. Yeah, no, I'm not able to answer that question because the energy's off. All right, let's see. Shuna, will Chad H and you reconcile romantically? Yes, but I also see that in the future, if you choose to go down that path, I do see you exhausted by him. This is a person that needs, like you know, a lot of energy. Hi, Crystal. My cat's trying to pull at my sleeve. I do see that there's going to be stuff. He's very needy, so it can drain you, and that's not fair. A relation. See, when two people have given themselves to each other and they have a history together, and what they've been through thick and thin, it's beautiful that, you know, person A will rely on person B and person B vice versa sometimes, and that's okay. But right off the bat, having one being the person that always needs, that's draining, and that's a parasite, and that's not healthy. And I see that they're not okay with that. Crystal, your little paw. Crystal, what are you doing? That hurts me. All right, let's see. Rachel, will David and you be in a romantic relationship soon? Rachel is asking for David. I see him being cold. It's a scenario where you're crying and he's just staring at you. So I just don't see the tenderness. Obviously there's something that has pissed him off, or something that he seems selfish to me. And I say that without any qualms. He seems very selfish to me, very ego. self-centered. All right, Farida, will Hassan and you be a couple? Yes, I do. I do see that you will be a couple again, briefly, because I do see him leaving you. So what that tells me is make your choices and live your life and, you know, do what you got to do, but go walk into it with awareness. And don't bank on it, because I'm already seeing he leaves. So if you don't want to, you know, I like to deliver happy news. It's free either way. I'd rather give happy news because it makes the person happy. And from a business perspective, since I'm a small business owner, it's better that I say something happy, but because it's honesty, I have to tell you. And I know that's not, you know, I'm just saying, go and live your, if you were my cousin, I would say to you, don't go that route. You deserve better, but you're not. You're my, you know, you're someone who's, you know, get a content consumer, I guess. And therefore, you know, I don't know you like that. So I'm going to tell you, do what you want to do, but be aware. Okay. All right, Jamie, is Craig hoping to hear from you today? All right, so this is, I don't know what he has to do with the ocean or boats or jet skis or something. I have no idea what his connection is with something on the water or water sports. It could be a vacation he wants to take. It seems to me, the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is that this person's energy seems to me like somebody who's an adventure seeker. Like somebody who, I'm not saying he's an adrenaline junkie, but he's an adventure seeker, and he's, you know, he's got plans and stuff that are about him and his enjoyment. And it doesn't seem like he plans his life around a love he's having. It seems like the loves that he has are planned around his life. So that being said, yes, there is a desire to hear from you, but I just want to let you know that he is his priority. Okay? All right. Cecilia, will you receive an offer from job 1 or job 2 or job 3 or job 12? That's cute. You can get a reading if you want me to answer that. Miriam, will Nana change for the better? I'm just going to ask if she's going to change. I understand, change for the better. Yes, I get that. You see, I'm trying to understand, because if she changes as a person, that doesn't necessarily mean that she changes for you. And you're asking it because of how emotionally you need to connect to her. And people don't change. Not really. Not the core. So it's a difficult question. I'm just going to see what I see with Nana, okay? With Nana and you. And let's just see what I see, okay? Miriam and Nana. All right, what I see is I know this is gonna confuse you, but I'm just gonna describe it. I see a woman laying down and holding up objects that she owns. Like when a person lays down and is counting clouds when they're on top of their car, or they're on a blanket outside and they're looking at clouds or stars. Well, this one is on a bed. And she's holding up and looking at objects that she owns, which means to me that she's a person that is obsessed with the way that they see things. with the way that they envision things, with the way that they, sometimes Pisces gives this energy. Very whimsical, like, I'm dreaming of this I'm going to own next year. I'm dreaming of this job that's going to get me this. You know, my mind is just obsessed with the illusion of what I believe I'm going to make happen. So I see, you know, I'm seeing that this person is very, they or she or whoever, I'm seeing that this person is, now at the same time, since you're in the vision, right, you know, as well, because it's both of you, it also shows me that they believe that the way that you, because maybe you're the one looking at things, their perception on you is that you don't get their full story, that they don't, that they feel that you communicate well and you have a connection, but the way that you look at your life and the way you prioritize what you want in as far as direction, they don't understand that part clearly. So it's almost like two people connect and everything on different levels, but when they interpret your direction and vocation and everything, where your desires are, your goals, they don't you know, that's where the clash comes in. So I would say, based on this, that there's a disconnection in this connection. That means that you both merge in path. So you may want each other and get along and have chemistry, but in the big picture, in the deeper life, there's a merge. You know, I'm sorry, as an anti-merge. There's a separation in the merging. So that means that there's a clash. You might have a different destiny than this person that doesn't fit. And that's what I'm seeing. All right? All right, let's see. Patsy, will Sunil reconcile with you? So I am seeing someone, I'm not going to describe what I'm seeing because I can't, with certain, you know, censorship, but I do see vindictive energy. So it's when a person, you know, doesn't forgive, when a person holds on to a grudge. So I would say no. And at the same time, there's a lot of envy and jealousy in their feelings. I would say no. All right, Trish, will you and Art ever be a couple? All right, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna pass on that because I don't answer questions for people that you know, are in that provide you know, magical services or occult services or reading services, which is what I do. That's kind of, it's a conflict of interest. I am sorry about that. So for example, a person, you know, the owner of Dunkin' Donuts going into the owner of Starbucks and saying, you know, drink my coffee. This is not appropriate business behavior. So I don't answer questions for people that, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, Melissa, will Ricardo reach out again? No for now. No for the next couple of months or a couple of weeks. I don't really do time frames on this. It seems like the answer is no. I'm just trying to, don't focus so much on the time. I'm seeing no. I'm seeing this person is focusing on the job they hate. They're miserable in some sense. There's a negative feeling about the way they feel about their life. So this is either stuck in a job they hate, maybe they have money problems. I understand that's far away from the love question, but the answer is no, and the reason is I see distance. Okay, Amanda, should you give Amir another chance with the relationship? Let's see. So this person does have a, how should I say, an anger issue. This person is very aggressive, almost like B-U-L-L-Y, which you can't say certain words. I would say no. He'll repeat patterns. You could be exposed to the same repeated behavior that hurt you, and you don't deserve that. You've been patient enough. I mean, I get it, you know, you're gonna do what you do and if you're in love with him, I understand. But you don't deserve that. So if he did it once, he'll do it again. Okay, Shariza, will Kenan and you reconcile? Yes, but you do have to realize that this person is into the physical. So be aware. If you want something long term, then you have to set up boundaries, unless you want to enter that type of scenario, because he's looking for that. Okay, Gracia, is Karina in love with you? Okay. I don't believe it's with you only. I think there's another layer of emotion in that. When a person falls in love with somebody, it's supposed to be pure love. But the way that I see they're clinging on to you is because you not only offer certain types of love, but you also offer certain things that, you know, fill psychological pockets. There's a certain codependency, you know. So yes, they're there, but they're there because you're a great nurse and you're a great mom, and you see how they put different roles on you? You should just be the romantic hat. That's it. That's the only thing a couple needs, is romantic hats. They don't need to wear other hats, you know. So it's important that you realize, you know, yeah, you deserve that back, and it's not balanced. Okay, let's see. Guru Pri is asking, you say your daughter left the house. Please, can you let me know if she will come home? I can't answer that. The reason is because it's a safety question, and the laws and the policies, you know, for spiritual businesses, you can't answer safety questions like that. I'm sorry, but it's because of the legalities. I'm not able to answer that question because it has to do with safety. So your best bet is to go to law enforcement or file a report for missing persons, and hopefully they can help you out. You have to, you know, call the, you know, your local resources and the professionals that can help you, and hopefully she's safe. Okay, but I am not able to answer those questions. All right, because of a policy and legality. All right, so let's see. I think I got to everybody. All right, guys, I will be back.